So who will the New England Patriots start at quarterback this week after Sunday's debacle with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappe? We'll dive into that. And is Bill Belichick for sure out the door after this season? And plus, what do the tank order standings look like? Big game tonight in that regard, by the way. The Bears and the Vikes would be big for the program if Chicago won that game. All that and more coming up here on today's episode of Patriots Today by Chat Sports. All right, let's dive into this QB situation. I am Harrison Graham, and look, it's Jover, as the thumbnail said on Sunday's video for Mac Jones. Maybe he'll get some playing time down the stretch, but he's obviously not going to be the answer beyond this year. But for the here and now, could he still get an opportunity? Will it be Bailey Zappe? Week 13 ought to be interesting. And look, we had 20 years of Tom Brady. If you're sick of this QB murkiness, if you're a Patriots fan, let us know by liking the video. If you're tired of the murkiness, not knowing who the answer is going to be, hit that like button. Myself and especially producer Rolly, our biggest Patriots fan here at Chat Sports, just sick and tired of this situation at quarterback. Okay, Bill Belichick at the podium today was, of course, asked about it. He said, yeah, I don't really see that right now in terms of adding another quarterback, but I mean, I wouldn't rule anything out. Anything that would help our team. We've brought in players at any position that you never know what's going to happen. If I think there's somebody, our pro scouting department thinks that there's somebody that would help us, we'd certainly listen to it and take a look at any position. It's not really about the quarterback position. It could be any position. I don't know. Nobody that comes to mind, but we will see. I know this. I'm not going to watch Mac Jones anymore. I don't want to, at least. I really don't want to watch Bailey Zappe anymore, but I think you just got to make a decision. I would like to see Malik Cunningham. I don't think he's an NFL passer, but give him an opportunity to see what he can do, run around. If nothing else, it's going to be entertaining. And I just know that Mac isn't going to be here beyond this year, so why continue to try him out? Quite frankly, I've seen enough of Bailey Zappe where I kind of know what his ceiling is as well. Rolly, we tried to tell the people last week, go with the Will Grier-Malik Cunningham combination. Well, they cut Will Grier. We'll see where they go from here.
Listen, you see it right there. We're tired, man. Like, this is just exhausting the past couple weeks, having to deal. Is it going to be Mac? Is it going to be Zappe? Belichick not being honest to the media. But according to everybody on the team, everyone knew it was going to be Mac Jones the entire time. I'm just absolutely sick of it, man. Let's just, for better or for worse, if the quarterback stinks, the quarterback stinks. Just pick one and roll with it for the rest of the season, whether it be Zappe or Malik Cunningham. You can't go back to Mac, so pick between those two. Malik's on your practice squad, Zappe's obviously on the active roster, and let's go with it. There's no better options out there. We're going to show 5 quarterbacks that they could
bring back
sign.
Will Grier.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Will Grier could come back. He has to clear waivers today, which I guess he did if nobody picked him up, so he could join the Patriots roster once again. But that quote about Belichick being open, he said probably not going to do it, but open to bringing in another quarterback was a little bit intriguing because there's 5 guys out there that might make this rest of the 6 games in New England at least watchable. I mean, look at these guys.
You're reaching if you ask me. I mean, Jeff Driscoll, we've seen what he's about. He doesn't do much. Ben DiNucci, he's fun in the XFL. David Blau, no thanks. Kellen Mond, gross. And Rolly's
Give
boy.
me Jake Fromm.
No one likes Jake Fromm more than Nick Rohloff. Let me tell you what.
Listen, I watched QB1 when that show was on whatever original TV network it was on. Now it's on Netflix. Actually, I think it's canceled. But either way, Jake Fromm was on the first ever edition of QB1 with Tate Martell and some bum that went to Wake Forest. But I fell in love with Fromm,
Sam Hartman?
No, Hartman was on season 2.
Okay.
I'd love to have Jake Fromm wear the Patriots blue and red and white for the final 6 games of the season. But Harrison, you have a different.
Yeah, forget those guys. Bring back Will Grier, elevate Malik Cunningham, and let's go. Like, we don't need to see Mac anymore. Bailey Zappe, no thanks. The Zappe thing, it's the same thing every time. He comes in the first drive, something seems to work, and then after that, it all falls apart. We've seen it multiple times now, so I'm done with that. Let's bring Will Grier back, see what he can do, and get Malik Cunningham a package as well. As Mac Jones just walked into the studio and flashed us here. I'm kidding. That was someone else. But, yeah, I do not want to watch Mac Jones or Bailey Zappe anymore, if you can't tell. Should the Patriots add a quarterback? Type Y for yes and for no. I don't know if they should, but I'd like to see him do it just for entertainment purposes over the final 6 weeks or so. What say you? Y for yes or in for no? Now, this is interesting as well. Pat McAfee had Adam Schefter on his show today, and this was a direct quote from Schefter saying, I believe we're going to have anywhere between 7 and 10 head coaching changes this year. I'll take the over. First of all, I got to rip Schefter a little bit here. He said I'll take the over. Is that over 7 or is that over 10? Because between 7 and 10, I'll take the over. Well, that doesn't make sense. Well, either way, his point is I think there's going to be a lot, and we've already seen 2 because the Raiders and Panthers have already fired their coaches, with Frank Reich getting fired today. Other potential firings, the Patriots, of course, with Bill Belichick. He could be gone. Maybe it's not a firing, but an opening perhaps. He could get traded to another team like Washington. I think Ron Rivera's cooked there. I think Brandon Staley's cooked in Los Angeles. Barring a big turnaround, I think Matt Eberflus is done in Chicago. Again, they play tonight. Arthur Smith, I think it's playoff contingent. If they win the division, he'll probably get another year. If not, he'll probably get fired. And then that's probably true with Todd Bowles in the NFC South as well. He is probably going to get fired unless they win the division. A couple other dark horses, like if Dallas loses early in the playoffs, maybe Mike McCarthy gets fired. We'll see. But could Schefter be alluding to the fact that you can't get to that level of a number, 7+, Rolly, unless Bill Belichick is done in New England?
Listen, we had 8 teams on that list, and a couple of them were questionable. So if Schefter really does think there's going to be 7 or 10 coaching opportunities that open up, or more, I guess, take the over, then there is no way Schefter can come to that number and that amount of openings unless he thinks the Patriots will actually have a coach opening. So that's kind of me reading between the lines of Schefter's quote, where he didn't really exactly say that this is the end of Belichick in New England, but I think if you look into it, it makes sense that that's kind of what he was doing.
There's just been too much smoke at this point. Albert Breer, like a month ago, said that Robert Kraft was debating firing him in the middle of the season. Like, there's rumors the Commanders might trade for him. Like, I think Kraft would prefer to trade him than fire him, because then he could say, I didn't fire him. It was just we mutually agreed to move on from each other. But we'll have to wait and see on that front. One more team, by the way. I think the Jets could fire Robert Saleh.
You think? I feel like he's got a year pass because Rodgers was hurt and they were
It's not his fault that Joe Douglas didn't get someone better than Zach Wilson to back up.
I mean, they could have got Dobbs, and I swear if they had Dobbs, they'd probably be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Coming up in just a second, let's take a look at the NFL Draft updated order as we head into Monday Night Football. But first, I do want to tell you guys about our sponsor on today's show. That is Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy. Spice things up on Monday Night Football. Bears and Vikings. Get started by creating an account today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Go to that link. That'll redirect you to the PrizePicks website. Plug in our promo code CLNS. That'll get you a deposit match up to $100. Little 3-player entry here. Give me the more on Justin Fields' total touchdowns. I think he has 2 or more tonight. DJ Moore with Justin Fields is much more productive than he was with their backup QB when Fields was out. I like the more there on catches. And then Jordan Addison, no Justin Jefferson, so more than 4 catches. I think that's pretty likely as well. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. You can win up to 25 times your money on any given entry. Celebrities like Meek Mill and Andrew Schultz and others play PrizePicks as well. Have fun, make money, and do so in an easy manner. It's PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Code CLNS to get started today. Okay, you look at the updated draft order here. Bears have 2 of the top 4 picks because Carolina's pick goes to Chicago. They lost again. Arizona lost, so they're in that number 2 pick. But remember, the Cardinals have their bye week next week, so if the Patriots lose next week, they would leapfrog Arizona due to a softer strength of schedule. So Patriots in a good position. Bears, if they win tonight, I still think would hold at 4 because I think their strength of schedule is weaker than Washington's. But if you're a Patriots fan, you definitely want Chicago to win to create more separation there to just further enhance your chances at a top 3 pick. Obviously, for New England, we talked about this yesterday. I don't know where you find the wins with how bad this QB situation is.
There are no wins, Harrison.
I mean, Jets at home feels possible if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back and if they don't have anything to play for. But beyond that, I mean, maybe the Chargers this upcoming week, but that feels like an obvious game the Chargers win because those are the games they actually do win against just garbage teams.
Yeah, and it feels pretty cut and dry. You look at the final 6 games, The only game that you might be able to win is at home against the Jets, but I don't see a way they actually score more than a field goal against that Jets defense. If they can't do it against the Giants defense, they only got the 1 touchdown. I don't think they're going to do that. And the fact of the matter is, HG, if the Patriots lose out, they're guaranteed a top 2 pick in the NFL draft. You just saw the top 5 list. Cardinals are currently ahead of them, but because they played one more game and they lost that game. But the difference in strength of schedule is like 0.22, which is pretty significant difference. So if you finish 2-15 and the Cardinals finish 2-15, you'll have a worse strength of schedule, which is actually better. It's weird how the draft works, but it's pretty unanimous. You lose out, you have a top 2 pick.
Yeah, the reason they do it that way is because if you have the same record with someone and your strength of schedule was softer, that means you had a better chance to win more games and you won the same amount as a team with a tougher schedule. Therefore, you almost lost more games than them because you didn't perform despite having an easier schedule. So that's how they determine that there. So there you have it. We'll see how things play out. But at most, I think this team wins one more game. And even if they do win one more, I think you're going to be in the top 3. You're going to be in a good position. All right, hit that subscribe button here on Patriots Today and know what else is providing daily Patriots news and rumors content like we are. We're looking ahead to the offseason. We're talking about the here and now. We're doing it all here on this channel. And just join us. Join us on the tank end game. Listen, yesterday was the final straw. It's Jover, like we said on the thumbnail yesterday. It's time to embrace it. Let's lose out and start the rebuild properly this offseason. All right, guys, we're going to call it here. Hit that like button if you're with us, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with more Patriots news and rumors.